We are live. Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. And today I have a esteemed guest, Liene from Liene's Library. We have set aside our differences and have come together to discuss a single book.
Our differences.
Yeah, basically. But normally there. I mean, you don't care, but normally I take great umbrage with your opinions.
What do you mean I don't care?
I mean, you don't care when people hate your stuff. You're just like, whatever.
Why do you think that I don't care?
Well, you do not outwardly respond with rage the same way that I do.
Because I don't know if you ever discovered this, but by responding to that, it usually encourages more of it.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, in this one, like our differing opinions is not going to spark animosity as
or any more than usual.
Yeah, I don't really have a dog in this fight. Anyway, so hello everyone who's joined us. This book came out last week, 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, like almost the last day of June. So
okay, so almost 2 weeks ago. And so hopefully people have had a time to read it, especially people who
also
what?
You got an e-arc of this, right?
Yes.
So do you have any physical copies of it?
No.
I had 4 physical copies, and I am now down to 3 physical copies because I managed to sell one.
Are you just like dunking on me?
No, I'm just like, you liked it and I didn't. And I have 4 copies.
Send me one? Please send me one.
I can send you one.
Nice. Why do you have 4?
Do you want? You can decide live. Do you want the ARC? Do you want the US hardcover or the UK hardcover?
Okay, so I like the cover of the UK one better, but I don't like UK hardbacks.
They're like identical.
Are they? Show me their size. They are not identical. Look at that.
They're almost identical.
Why? It's just send me the US hardback. Just send me the US hardback. Like I'm not gonna track down the UK one.
Oh, you mean for the sequel?
Now, Colton, it depends on what she insults. So.
It's been a while since I read it, so I went back and listened to our messages from when I finished it to be like, what did I think about this?
Yeah, I'm going to be bad at... everyone is here to watch us argue, Liene, and I think they're going to be sadly disappointed. But yeah, I don't remember a lot of the characters' names. Character names, for some reason, like unless they're characters like I really love or really hate, I have difficulty remembering character names because I just read too many fantasies and I don't really focus on their names, really, especially when it's weird, like in this one.
I only remember. I mean, I think I would have remembered Rain's name, but I only remember some of the other names.
I forgot Rain's name when I, went to go look at my notes. I'm like, the main character, what's her name? I thought it was Rain, but I wasn't sure. I was like, am I thinking of a video game? I don't know.
Well, I think I would have remembered her name, but I definitely would not have remembered the other names. So, like, listening to our messages from before reminded me of Ovidus.
Ovidus.
I don't remember any of the other names.
I kept thinking Ovidius. I'm like, wait, that's not. It's Ovidus. Michael, what's up? Everyone's here to guys. We're not going to argue, but you can listen to our non-spoiler discussions. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Are we planning to do spoilers later or not at all?
Yeah. We'll talk spoilers a little later so that people who read it can come and
or don't care.
Yeah, or don't care, can check it later. There's not a ton of spoilers, really. Yes, there is over the mystery. Anyway, whatever.
Well, I think we can talk about the whole. I mean, I think you can talk about the whole book without spoilers, like in generalities, and then to back up why we think what we think is when you have the spoilers.
Yeah, we'll do that. So, Daughter of Redwinter by Ed McDonald. This is so. You are more familiar with Ed McDonald's works and the fact that this one was. Tell the story of what you know about this one's publication.
Oh, this is my understanding. I could be wrong, but my understanding was based on his own tweets. But I also don't have them in front of me, so I might be misremembering. But I believe he wrote Daughter of Redwinter years and years ago, and that's the book he was shopping around to try to become a published author, and it wasn't selling. So he set it aside and then wrote the Ravensmark trilogy, which sold, and I love it. So I was really excited to read this. But this is a new book. it's old because it's what he wrote before. And then also my understanding is that when he originally wrote it, it was like 3 times longer than this, and that he chopped it down and fixed it up and then published it. So it isn't exactly the manuscript he shopped around however many years ago, but it is that, but it's been like polished up a bit and condensed apparently a lot. I don't know if it was like 3 times longer and so he split it into 3, or if it was 3 times longer in the first installment.
Yeah, that's what I was going to wonder. Like is it did he just, the stuff he cut out, is that just for the next books? I don't know. You are hoping not. You were hoping
maybe he cut out all the good stuff.
It's brand new material. So yeah, I saw those same tweets, and so I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. I wasn't really expecting anything because I have not finished Ravensmark like you have. I've only read Blackwing, so I didn't really have a lot to go on. And
but even just off of Blackwing, like you can see, he seems like a lot more accomplished a writer.
Yeah, Blackwing moves at a much faster pace than this book does. And look, just right off the bat, like I liked this book overall, especially the I know you didn't, a little, like the last 30% I really liked of this book. Like the last third I really enjoyed. I ended up giving it 4 stars after letting it sit. But you did not like it at all, right?
No. I'm so sad.
So we're going to talk about why that is. I will say that I do see some, especially like the inclusion of like horror elements, like light horror elements. I think he's good at doing that, and he does that here too. And like we do agree that he writes good action scenes. And that is
good. Not just action scenes, because action could be just like, fist fighting and swords, but I mean like very magical horror,
like set piece
kind of.
Yeah. And I think when we were talking about it on Voxer, I think I like characters too, or else I couldn't like some of my books where nothing happens. But I think if I can only have one, like I need it to be about something. Like I need there to be a plot. I need stuff to happen. I would prefer
over First Law.
I would prefer both. But if the characters are really, really good, that's fine. But a lot of times the characters are like, they're so boring. These are boring people doing boring things. But in this, I ended up liking the story overall, and I liked the mystery element. And hold on. But Ben says a touching character study with a large cast of characters that felt rounded and complex. I agree to an extent. I think I was told repeatedly, like I needed them to stop studying Rain's character. Like stop.
I needed them to start studying Rain's character because I was told the same 2 notes about her over and over again.
She's processing her grief.
Anything else. But I mean, so like you said, in the comparing it to Blackwing, you were like, well, Blackwing is paced better. Yes, it is. But also Reinhold Galhero as a character, maybe less about him to start out with than you do about Rain. And yet I feel like he comes off the page like he's a distinct individual that I have an image in my mind. And then as I learn more about him, he becomes even more fleshed out, and things that I thought I knew are like contradicted, or it adds a new perspective to who he is. So like I thought Reinhold was like great character work, and I was like, okay, well, let's see you do something completely different with this like young female protagonist. Like it's gonna have to be different. Like she shouldn't be like Reinhold Galhero. Like that would be weird. But I don't know if it's because, write what you know, and like he doesn't know how to write a young female, but Rain had nothing.
Part of it is Galhero. Galhero's easier because what is going on with Galhero is more interesting just inherently to write about. Like Galhero is, first of all, world weary, which, I mean, he's trying to write a teenager, like a teenage female who is, I don't know, some of the stuff she's concerned about. I'm just like, I deal with that in my class. I'm like, I'll get over it. Like, why can't you decide who you want to be in love with? Like, just freaking make up your mind. Like, because I personally don't care. Just make up your mind. Stop bothering me with it. Just like in class. And but Galhero.
But not every teenage girl is concerned about that. Just like the idea that because you're writing a teenage girl, well, I have to write a plot where she's like having some romantic confusion. It's like, no, you don't.
That's true. But it is most of them. Like, it is most of them. They're interested. I mean, that's what they That's what guides them. It's their guiding principle. And I don't know why. I try to tell them not to. But also, you know, Galharrow's situation is inherently more dangerous, and the world is.
But also, Galharrow has a lot more agency and he has like a purpose to him. Whereas like we talk, Rain is like entirely passive for like the majority of this book. Stuff just happens, and she maybe reacts to it, maybe not.
Yeah.
And it just like she's just like going along, and I mean, like, give her a thing that she's trying to do, or a thing that she wants to get, or something.
Yeah, I will. I agree. And I said that in my review. Like, she is very passive, especially in the middle of this book when she's at Redwinter. Like, she is, like, you're right. Like, sometimes she's reacts to stuff, sometimes she doesn't. But she doesn't actually ever go do anything. She just reacts to things that are happening. And it's not, that's why I really liked the last third, because that's when she's actually like, I'm going to go investigate this mystery. I'm going to go and she starts doing stuff on her own, which I enjoyed much better. Ben, I also said this too. It is someone struggling with identity. I don't think it was the best done. It's someone trying to figure out who she is, as most teenagers are. I thought it kind of dragged, and I thought it was kind of, you know, I liked some of the stuff about the world that we got while she was there. But most of the time she's sitting around listening.
But she's not only passive, she's also the worst. She's like the worst.
Yeah.
She's terrible. I don't understand why anyone in the story gives her the time of day. And she's like kind of a Mary Sue insofar as like all the characters around her like immediately want to help her, want to give her a good position, want to be in love with her, want to like constantly. And I'm just like waiting.
Because of Ulivar? Isn't that part of that? Because Ulivar like brought her in and vouches for her, and you know he's their lord or.
But even like him doing that and the way that she gets a position there, like just. I guess because they're grateful, but it still seems excessive. And then I thought that we were setting up, this is mildly spoilery, I thought we were setting up that she would have some friction with the existing servants because she's like a servant, but in name only, and she really gets the run of the house and gets to like do whatever she wants with a bunch of money. And so there's other servants who are like have the same title as her, but they actually are servants. And I was like fully expecting to breed resentment and that she would make enemies, but no, it's fine. Everyone's fine with it.
Well, no, the first servant's not fine with it. He doesn't like it, but nothing really comes from it. Like,
right, that's what I meant. I mean, like, he's like a little annoyed, but like...
Yeah, the first servant, I mean, I thought she was being set up to, you know, become Drahim. And maybe that, like, I don't have a book. I haven't published a book. But maybe that would have been more interesting than literally, like, I think when they block her from entering the order, like, where else can it go? She's got to sit around Redwinter because she doesn't, you know.
But again, like they
rejected her application to Hogwarts, Liene.
This is again mildly spoilery, but
it's just a spoiler for what
I'm about to say is mildly spoilery.
Yeah.
That like so what like you say like so but she's hanging around because she can't train but she's like still there. And the fact that she's like put in a position where she's going to be around people and around what's going on, even if she can't officially participate, it takes her way too long. In fact, she doesn't figure it out. Someone tells her that, like, didn't it occur to you that you were put in this position so that you could kind of still learn, even though you're not in training? And she's like, no, it didn't. And I'm like, because you're so stupid. But then also nothing comes of that. I was like, okay, great. But she finally realizes that she's able now. She's in those places. She's in those rooms. She's in those dinners and those meetings. And I was like, okay, so then what's going to come of that? Is she going to finally realize that she can pick stuff up and kind of learn stuff and get it? No, she just finally realizes that that's maybe why she was given the position, but nothing comes of that. Like, she's not like around for an important conversation that she wouldn't have been if she wasn't like the cupbearer person.
So a lot of that is because here's the problem. Like, I teach kids just like this, that are that stupid, like, who literally would have no idea.
Would you make them the protagonist?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's great to read about them. Like, I'm not saying that, like, that's a good choice for your protagonist. but it is kind of realistic for being a dumb teenager, where they don't have, like, they're so oblivious to half the crap going on around them. But I mean, yeah, like there's a lot of like threads that I thought it was gonna explore, and maybe it did in the yeah, but the problem is, Ben, is that waffling, like her inability to make a decision, is part of what
there isn't something else that she wants instead, that she's like, do I want this or do I want this other thing? No, it's just like, I don't know if I want this. Well, what do you want? I don't know.
Well, her choice is either this or she's gonna run.
But to where?
I mean, who cares? Like, she doesn't care. She's gonna run. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of tension is, are they gonna find out about the gravesite? So let's go ahead and talk about what this book's about. So this book is about an orphan. No, she's not an orphan. Actually, not an orphan. She has a mama.
Wait, before you explain what it's about, which tagline do you think is better? Because they give two different ones, the UK and the US. The US cover says, "Those who see the dead soon join them." And the UK one says, "In a world of deceit, only the dead hold the truth."
I mean, the UK is more about what the book's about.
Okay, but that's not the one you want, right? You want the
US
that
one, yeah. Because the thing is, if I order the next one, I'm going to order the American one.
Why?
Because I have Amazon.com and I have Prime on Amazon.com, not Amazon.uk.
But you can get free shipping from Blackwell's.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean,
the US hardcover I ordered from Blackwell's for cheaper than Amazon.
Really? What the crap? Mm-hmm. Anyway, this is about a girl named Rain who's living with she's living at this like abandoned monastery with these monks, and she finds someone and there's one of the nuns has the gravesite, and so this like order of these Templar people, whatever, they're trying to like get rid of her because she's a witch.
The beginning doesn't matter. It could have been cut entirely. I'm so mad.
That's not. No, because of what's his name? Sousaphone. Skeksis, the big bad, the demon.
Yeah, thing. But that we could be told that in a flashback, just that one scene.
That's true. That's true.
Like all the stuff about her interpersonal relationships with the guy that she's dating and the friend that's friend zoned that wants to date her, and the other people in the monastery, like literally doesn't matter.
Yeah. There's stabby, but it's later. I mean, it's early and then later. There's no stabby in the middle.
It like bookends it. There's like the middle is a passive slog where nothing happens, and the beginning.
The middle is Harry Potter if it was written from like the perspective of Filch, if he wasn't quite so grumpy. If
he was like a hot girl.
Yeah. So it's like someone who's on the outside of the people who are doing things, watching them do things.
But if Filch was a Mary Sue and all of the students at Hogwarts like wanted to be his best friend, even though he's a squib that's not actually at Hogwarts.
Okay, so it's like Hogwarts if like Dumbledore's hot best friend was at school with Dumbledore as a student. No, it's nothing like that. Whatever. I don't know. It's like the whole thing written from not like Dr. Watson in a Sherlock mystery, but like Dr. Watson's manservant from a Sherlock mystery.
So I mean, okay, so like the earlier when I was talking about how like, okay, you're not training, right? But you've been put in a position where you're going to be around important conversations, around the people who are training. And I was like, this has been done, and it's been done way better when Arya Stark was a cupbearer in the Song of Ice and Fire, and that was very interesting. And Arya Stark is a young person who's struggling to know who she is. She doesn't exactly know where to go. She's like, maybe I should go north to my brother. I just need to get away. She's fascinating. I am never bored following Arya Stark.
Yeah,
and it's just like you.
But you're telling Ed McDonald to be George Martin, and
no, what I'm saying is that like telling me that like it's good. To say that it's like by necessity a character who is this type of character in this position will be passive and boring, and I'm like, that's not true, because I've seen it done where she checks some very similar boxes and she's fascinating to read about. So like I'm saying, this situation doesn't have to be boring. This character doesn't have to be boring.
No, I agree. I look at freaking Like, look at the Sherlock Holmes stories. They're told from Watson's perspective. Like, the bystander, it can be interesting. It just wasn't here. And
but she's both the bystander and the main character. It's like Watson telling a Sherlock story about Watson.
Yes.
Instead of about Sherlock.
Yeah.
You're like, no one cares about you.
No, I agree. And so, like, the middle, I mean, the middle was fine for me. Like, it didn't bother me as much as it bothered you, obviously. I don't know why it didn't bother me. I guess it's because I didn't get bogged down. There wasn't a bunch of stuff that happened that I'm like, that's dumb. I was just like, okay, like, is this girl going to do something?
Well, so I was talking about this on Instagram because I was like reading it. I still didn't know where it would go, but we made it to the road trip portion of this book, and that too. I was like, the beginning when we were in the monastery, I was like, is this where this book is? Is I need to pay attention to these people? Nope, we're gone from there. Okay, so now it's a road trip book. I was like, this is a road trip book, and then we got to Redwinter, and I was like, no, this is a magic school that we're not in book. I was like, what is this book? But if we had started on the road to Redwinter, if the book opened there and we did not know who Rain was and we did not know who the people with her were, we only knew that something happened. And now everyone has like some reason, some tense reason to be together and be heading to Redwinter. And through her introspection, and because she thinks vague things to herself, which having seen what happened, I'm like, yes, I know, I saw it. And what you're offering me is not an interesting bit of introspection. But if I didn't know what had happened, and she was like, this thing that I saw, I've never seen anything like it. It's crazy. And I can't wrap my head around it. I'm like, what did she see? What happened? And she's like, these people that I'll never see again. And they're all dead because of me. And I'm like, why are they dead? Why are they dead because of you? What do you mean? And like through this introspection and through the conversations that she has with the people, Ovidus and whatever, on the road to Redwinter. And when she gets there, like if we're piecing that together, then suddenly this like still kind of awful, still kind of boring character at least has me hooked to find out what her deal is. But I already know what her deal is. And watching her like be feelsy about it for a bit and not in an interesting like Robin Hobb kind of way, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I saw what happened and I get that you're upset about it, but like move on.
Hang on. Which side quest trip did they take? Which one are you talking about? The one to they did go to the one it was like
where they were stoning to death the
no. She accompanied
yes
the delegation to deal with the land dispute. No, that's where it starts getting interesting for me, Ben. From that point on is when I enjoyed it, because she ends up what all the stuff that she does.
She ends up doing something.
Yeah, exactly. That
wow.
Yes, that is wait, to get the book, is that different? Is that a different one? Did they go to a different place for the book than they went to? I've forgotten which
book.
They left Redwinter to go to the. Oh, I don't know. Ben will fill us in, or he won't. What's up, Amanda? But yeah, I liked that part, like when they went to do the delegation of the land dispute on Ulivar's behalf. I was sad that Ulivar was sidelined for the entire book. I did like her brief interaction with drunk Ulivar sitting on the edge of the tower, or whatever. I enjoyed that scene, and I can tell because I remember it. Yeah, I mean,
I like the rest.
Well, I mean, I like Blackwing like way better. Like I remember way more about Blackwing. Blackwing was much more outstanding, like literally outstanding.
But it's like
yes, exactly, Ben.
In Blackwing, like the character has agency, the character has a want, the character has a personality, like the world around him is like doing things that he's reacting to, and instead of it like being the only thing that's happening, where like the world happens and he reacts to it, the world happening is disrupting his plans or is giving new information that he needs to account for in his plans. So instead of it just being nothing, oh, world happened, oh, look at that, it's like I am trying to do something and world is happening, and it's like it's messing with what I'm trying to do. And that's dynamic and that's interesting.
What do you think about Matt's statement here?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I like you say, it's I think I agree with you about when we were talking Voxer about the beginning, how it would have been just like either.
I mean, this whole book is like a prologue for whatever's about to happen.
I know,
so
and I would have been okay with the first part if we didn't constantly refer back to it as if I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like, we always, I'm like, lady, like, I was freaking, like, you must have missed the part.
I know, I was there.
No, you must have missed the part where Ulavar put the schism in her head. Like, you must have missed it, because I saw it. But Liene, you didn't see it, clearly, because it tells you 133 times. And it's just like, I was there. I was there when you put the thing in her head, Ulavar. Come on, man.
Well, I think Blackwing is also like more I don't know, it doesn't repeat exposition that much. You know, it kind of tells you stuff, and it kind of tells you a lot of stuff, and you're like, that's a lot, and it's not really repeating it. And I like that.
I think it's an interesting world, but the problem is that most of the world building was delivered through history lessons from Ovidus, which, like, that's a standard thing. You got the scholar there to deliver the history of the world. That doesn't bother me in books. Like, I'm sure it bothered you way more. I was like, oh, dude, tell me. You know, I'm a history guy.
The thing that bothered me about him, which we're not in spoilers, but anyway, vaguely, once again, this was a character where, like, we did something that I thought was about to be interesting, and then we didn't do anything with it. Where, like, we find out that he's done a thing, and we should not be okay with it, and we are briefly not okay with it, and then we go back to being fine with it, and the plot proceeds as if that had never happened.
I forgot the thing that he did. Man.
He does something to Rain that she finds out about, and it makes her mad for like a hot minute, and then she's like back to
yeah, I forgot about that. It's why what is Sousaphone's name? Samovar, Salvador.
Let me check one of my 3 copies.
Oh my gosh, what's his name? The freaking fencer.
I mean, I know who you mean, but I don't remember the name.
Of course, I'm in a chapter where he doesn't exist. Hold on. Stupid ebook. Impossible to find anything.
While you look for that, though, like, okay, so I hate when people use this as an insult, but I am about to use this as an insult.
Are you about to cuss?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I said I hate when people use this as an insult.
I didn't know if you were about to, like, drop some bad language.
No. This shouldn't be used as like synonymously with, or like this shouldn't automatically mean you're insulting something, but this read like YA.
Oh.
It read like a school for magic where there's some petty rivalries, and there's a Mary Sue character that everyone is either in love with or wants to be friends with, and she just like gets to be there and gets money, and everyone is just fine with her.
Well, I mean,
and there's like some chosen one-ish kind of thing.
At least the women weren't at each other's throats, though. That's generally a YA thing we see.
No, they were at each other's throats for different reasons.
I mean, they were down each other's throats. So, I agree. It was weird. It's very strange.
Matt says he's Sousaphone the fencer. You got it.
Yes, thank you. Sandvaunt. Sorry, Sandvaunt. That's close.
That guy.
I liked Sandvaunt. But yes. No, it's none of those, sadly. It's Sandvaunt. Oh,
I just desperately wanted something to be complicated, and it just kept not being. Because, like, with him too, Sandvaunt, like, so we discover something with him, right? And it goes from being like a question to having the answer, and we're done now. Instead of finding out something gray, finding out something that's not what you thought it was, but is a new kind of problem.
But
like,
I liked the answer to that one, though. I liked the answer to Sandvaunt's question.
I liked in the moment that answer, but in terms of your overall plot and creating more and more complicated things to be happening and to be affecting each other, it just kind of like cut that.
In defense of what you're saying, there's not really a lot more to learn about the main cast in future books. Like I mean, you're right. You're right. There's not really a ton of mystery behind
we know what all their motivations were. We know what all their little like secrets were.
Yeah, we should.
It's like a standalone.
There was not a murderous bully, or I would have disliked this book a lot. Like that, I wouldn't have been able to come back.
Rain is the murderous bully.
I mean, kind of. Um, like, I didn't like the I didn't like the handling of what was the guy at the beginning, Baird, whatever her boyfriend's name was at the beginning, where I was just like, are you serious with
See,
this guy right here?
I liked it because for the like I was pretty bored at the opening. And then when that character was introduced and that relationship was introduced, I was like, something messy and complicated that might present like complicated feelings of like that this isn't the enemy, but it's clearly not a friend, and like, oh, it's something. It's something. And then that was immediately like gone. And I was like,
That was
okay,
ridiculous.
so
Like that guy's
we're back to
like,
nothing.
I was like, who acts like this? Like he was.
I mean, there are guys that act
I mean,
like that.
I mean, yes, there are like domestic abusers, but like if they act, I'm not like. I hope they don't act like that guy. Like that guy's like was a cartoon. I was like,
I'm
like,
not saying it was great, but it was like a taste of something a little more than just like a basic, non-complicated situation.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
I
like
thought,
she had some kind of different feelings about it, where you can't just say this bad, this good, this bad, this good. Where when you have that situation, it's like something messy. And I'm like, okay, that tells me something about this character, that like, oh, she might be a good fighter or she might be brave, but this is clearly a situation that's a blind spot for her. And why is that? Does that mean that she's had previous trauma that makes her okay with this? Like she's not interested in this person that's nice to her. Like that's character development. And then that was gone. And then she was made to be like forgetting emotions and had zero character after that. And I was like, great.
yeah, none of this. There was, well, no, not really. I mean,
The
Sandvon,
rich boys there were all delighted to be her friend and to
not
show her the
Sandvon,
ropes.
not Sandvon.
At first,
Oh yeah, no,
it
it's
was only because of what's
let's
his
talk,
name that stopped.
let's talk spoilers about this. We'll lose everybody when we talk spoilers. Actually, hold on. Yeah, I mean, it could have gone a lot of different ways that could have made it like she was never really. There's not a ton of. She's not actually ever really in danger of people finding out the grave site.
The only reason they find out is if she told somebody.
Yeah.
There's no one that knows the secret that could spill it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why she's so concerned about it, but I don't know. Yes, there was a refreshing lack of bullies. I agree. So we're going to talk spoilers from here on out. So you should read it for yourself, maybe. If you like Ed McDonald, you should read it.
Quickly, without spoilers about the gravesite, we are told, that she's worried about people finding it out. And we are told that in theory, people hate this and are prejudiced against it. But it really, I can think of one example that feels like too little, too late, where it's like, okay, I can see that the world is against this. But for the most part, in her day to day, it doesn't feel like this like overshadowing like bigotry that she's always hearing and always knows about, and this like looming dread of like, if they find out, I'm in trouble. Like I never felt like if they did find out, she'd actually be in trouble, because it's not this like, when you like think about books where there's like a character that has a secret, and so then scene after scene will show it come up with something else, or people talking about it casually and saying things about it that make the character who has this secret go, oh my God, if they know my secret, they were talking about me right now. And that never happened. So like I never felt like dread about it.
And talking to you, like, and just recalling a lot of stuff, like it seems like there's a lot of disparate elements that don't super work.
Maybe when it was 900 pages, there was like a lot of this was fleshed out.
It's possible. Like it just seems like there's a lot of there's a lot of elements that don't super work well together here in this book. Because you're right. Like the gravesite has almost nothing to do with the plot at large. Like almost nothing to do with the plot at large. It's tangentially related. We're gonna talk spoilers now. So go, if you want spoilers, go read it. If you like Ed McDonald, you should read it. Like I would, if I like.
But I like Ed McDonald.
Well, I know you're gonna read the second one, aren't you? You said you were.
Maybe. I said I would see. Like it depends on like what the synopsis is and what the reviews are.
Well, I mean, yeah, I understand. Well, okay, so anyway, I liked it, guys. I think Ed McDonald is really good at writing set piece battles, and I think the plot, when it gets to it, is really interesting.
And he has interesting novel concepts for like magic and stuff.
Yes, and I like the world. I think the magic system's neat. I like what I was told about the world. I think it's an interesting world. I just don't. I mean, it wasn't utilized to the best degree. The world building.
Well, also I complained about this to you that like there was a lot of Scottish names in it, but that's the only thing that clued me into the fact that this was supposed to be Scottish in feel because nothing about it really felt Scottish other than the
I said
names.
Celtic.
No, but I mean, those
Yeah.
are Scottish names and they eat like a Scottish food and they have a kilt at one point and it's like that's it. But like in terms of like actually how the world feels and how the characters feel, it does not feel like Scottish lairds with magic or something. It doesn't feel like that.
No, I'm not gonna lower it in post because like I enjoyed the book. I already lowered it from 4.5 to 4 after I was sitting on it. But it's not gonna, like, talking to Liene is not gonna retroactively ruin the enjoyment I had when I read it. I just might agree with you. Like, y'all know that my defining characteristic as a human being is not blowing my lid, right? Like, I am on the regular, actually, I'm going to get excited about things, but I'm a relatively calm person. I'm not mad 24/7. Everyone thinks
You
that
also regularly see eye to eye with me.
I regularly what?
See eye to eye with me.
Do we? Is that true? On what? What do we agree about?
Well, Ed McDonald for one.
I mean, it's true. That's true. What else?
I didn't come prepared with a list.
Okay.
But you have previously agreed with me that we agree.
Guns of the Dawn.
Guns of the Dawn.
Guns of the Dawn was good.
And when you read First Law, we will agree.
We'll see. We'll see if I ever read First Law. I'm gonna wait until Abercrombie's died and there's no more First Law.
He's quite young.
Well, guess I'm gonna be. I don't know. See, get out of here for millionaire. I'm not always mad about something, but you and I do argue with some regularity, but it's usually because you're making an inexcusable take about something that I hold dear. Anyway,
that's
spoilers.
not why.
Spoilers. Okay, what I really liked, first of all, I thought, and this was, I think, something that was cut from the major work, or that I hope has more. The difference is that Hilo is a thug who doesn't know how to handle any problem without violence because he's dumb. He's a dumb dummy. No, I do not handle things like
That's
Hilo.
categorically untrue.
It is. Hilo is a.
He proves that he's not just a dumb thug.
Okay? I've read Jade City. So as far as Jade City is concerned.
Yeah, in Jade City, he proves that he's not just a dumb thug.
He is a dumb thug. He handles his problems with dumb thuggery or the threat of dumb thuggery. He handles his problems violently or with the threat of violence. That's how he handles it.
Not always.
In Jade City, yes. He doesn't do anything that doesn't involve
it's not true.
someone's head in or threatening to beat someone's head in. You know who's good at running the clan? You know who's good at running the clan? The sister and the older brother, and leave Hilo to be whatever, the fist or the candle or the lantern, whatever the stupid thing is that is in charge of
It's definitely the candle.
Who's the goon one? What's the goon one? You know, you're a green bone fanatic now. So what is it?
Not a fanatic.
Who's the goon? Who's the goon squad?
It's the Horn?
The Horn. There you go. The Horn. Get out of here, Hilo. Like, freaking go hire a prostitute somewhere. Like, just stop. Stupid.
He's in a committed relationship, sir.
I guess I was very explicit. Like, whatever. Anyway, I hate Hilo. Like, all the people, like every time someone tells me to finish reading the series that I'm gonna love Hilo, like, it makes me like I have a visceral response to not ever read the series. Like, stop.
I never said that.
Like, people want me to read the series, it's fine. Don't tell me to read it because I'm gonna like Hilo, because I'm gonna purposely not. Freaking.
Okay, everybody, make sure when you tell him, Alan, next time to read it, just don't mention Hilo.
I just hate Hilo. Like, I'm so over like how much everyone is in freaking love with Hilo. Like, almost every character except Barrow is better than Hilo in that book. Barrow's not.
I can't wait to see what you think of First Law characters.
What?
I can't wait to hear you rant like this about First Law characters.
Oh, well, Barrow's the worst kind of goon. He's a freaking drugged up, like, go get your fix somewhere, Barrow. Better yet, die in a ditch. Like, I hate Barrow.
I think you're supposed to. It's the right
Okay.
reaction.
Yeah. No, I'm reading Raven Cry this month.
We're reading Raven's Cry.
As soon as I finish the book I'm currently reading. Ebooks Hermit, you can like Elo. That's not true. It's just slow. That's also not true. Sharp and First Law. I mean, that's a good endorsement of First Law, but I'm not.
It's a good endorsement of Sharp.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I don't know. Like, I'm jealous of what? Of
Kilo. You doth protest too much.
I don't know what that I don't get to be in charge of the goons.
See, the thing is, Alan has always wanted to wear black and lean against a wall. And so anytime a character does that, it inspires this kind of an aggressive reaction because they're living the life that he always wished he could.
Let's talk about this book. What I liked about this book, and that was underutilized, was the color storm. I thought that was really neat.
Okay, but you say it was underutilized. Like, you can't have a color storm on every page because that would definitely ruin it.
No, not underutilized. It didn't matter. What was its purpose?
Oh, yeah. Because nothing mattered in this book.
but like, I thought it was most obvious with the color storm. This awesome thing happened, but ended up not mattering at all. But I thought it was really
right. I mean, they also, not just like the storm itself, and then afterwards they spend so much time like researching, trying to figure out why that happened, and then you're like, but it didn't matter.
I wonder if I wonder how we would feel if we had read this book, like if we'd had these answers, like if all this stuff had been like cut. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if
you mean like if we read the 900-page I don't know that it's 900 pages, but the original manuscript.
Yeah, that had all the answers in here where stuff like made a difference. Maybe it never did, but it's possible that it did.
And to his point about the color storm might come back in the future books. It's the same. I would say the same thing as I said about like Rain versus Arya, where like you can put things in that don't necessarily pay off yet, and still make them feel like they're building towards something, and not make you just feel like, what was the point of that? Like, you can definitely, like in Blackwing, there's stuff that like gets, is setting stuff up for later. And throughout the Song of Ice and Fire, there's stuff that's setting up for later. But you don't, if it's done badly, you feel like, what was the point of that? If it's done well, you're like, I can't wait to see where that goes.
Yeah, like I agree. I think it's going to come in later books, but the problem is, like, I didn't really have any. There was no like, I guess, foreshadowing that it was going to matter in later books. I don't know. I was just like, that's a cool thing, and then it left, and I was sad. What else? You go ahead and talk about all the things that you don't like now.
I already talked about most of them.
Oh, Ovidus. Yeah, there you go. Ovidus' thing. I'm gonna eat while you're talking. I'm gonna be eating a chicken leg. So, pardon.
It's a very Ovidus thing to do. Aren't they always talking about how much he was like eating all the time, finishing all her food and eating at the banquets all the time?
So let me tell you about the history of Redwinter. You see, when we were first founded by the you're not gonna believe when my girlfriend gets back. Oh, she's so pretty. Like,
well, speaking of girlfriend,
we're basically married. Like, basically, she just like,
she just doesn't know it.
I mean, like, she said that we're gonna get married when she get back. She didn't say it, but she's definitely thinking it.
She said it with her eyes.
That's right. She's like, I could tell.
All right, go ahead. Friggin' Ovidus.
Andrew, but that's what he's like.
Andrew hated him. Most of his dislike for this book was Ovidus. He did not like
I would say, okay, but I feel like there's two different kinds of ways to say that, like, I hate this character. One is in the good version of it where, like, you were clearly meant to.
No.
And then there's the one where you're like, no, I don't think I'm supposed to hate you this much, but I definitely do. Because, like, have you read the Live Ship Traders trilogy?
No, I haven't read it.
Okay, because there's a character in it that, like, every single person who picks up Live Ship Traders is like, I hate Kyle. Exactly. You haven't read it and you knew. Yeah. But it's not like Robin Hobb didn't mean you to hate him. Like, you're supposed to feel that way. You're supposed to read it and go, like, oh, I hate you so much. Whereas Ovidus, like, I really hate Ovidus, but especially because of, like, we're in spoilers now. The thing we find out, right, is that Sousaphone guy and Rain were kind of like flirting, and I don't understand why, because Rain's the worst, but fine, they're flirting. And then he immediately stops flirting with her, and he's like really cold to her, and he's like that for the rest of the book. And of course, she doesn't like do anything about it, doesn't ask about it. It's just like, wonder why that happened. He must be a villain. But so then we find out that it's because Ovidus went and told everybody that he'd like been with Rain, and like that's why she's here, and she's kind of like his kept woman, because he was like, I mean, he's never confirmed that he did it because he was jealous, but presumably he did it because he was jealous. He saw Rain hitting it off with that guy. And he's not even into Rain. He's into that red-haired girl that he won't shut up about. And he's so like, it was just, well, for one, it was inconsistent characterization because he's obsessed with that girl. Like, it seems wildly out of character for him to then care that Rain is flirting with this other guy when he has eyes only for this beauteous girl that doesn't care about him. I'm like, where did this come from? Like, that's not the type of character you've told me that he is. Like, he's not great for other reasons. He's like single-mindedly obsessed with her and like is living in La La Land when like he's like, she must like me, and Rain's like, look, she doesn't like you, and he's like, no, she likes me. I'm like, that's the kind of person you are, and that can be its own kind of creepy and evil and weird. It's not the same thing as then, it's not every kind of creepy. It's like if you're one kind of creepy, you're every kind of creepy. Like, that's not true. So then finding out that he lied and told everybody that he slept with Rain, I'm like, that doesn't seem like something he would do. And also, okay, he did do it apparently, and that's awful. And Rain is like mad about it for like a minute, and then we go back to like, we got to defend him and defend the people, and I guess it's fine, and I forgive him, and it's like that's it. Like, she doesn't care about it. And I'm like, that's a horrible thing to have done to her. And he's also shown how grossly possessive he is of the girl that wants nothing to do with him. Like, he's shown so many like creepy, terrifying behaviors, and Rain is like, that's just how he be. And I'm like, no wonder you were dating an abuser, because you have apparently no ability to gauge what a horrible person this is.
Just for that, I'm adding you to my manifesto. So you just wait. You'll learn. Like, I got huge incel vibes from Avidus.
Yes. And like, yes, but not in a way where like then he was the villain. I was like, how is he not the villain?
One thing I'm looking forward to though, in the later books, is if he does indeed take over the clan, because I think he'll be bad at it.
Oh yeah,
because he is too.
We saw what he did then, like when he did have his brief moment. He's done so many things to make you hate him, because he did that thing to Rain, the way he acts with the girl that he's into, and then when he did have this moment of like taking power, it's Rain who like has their one moment of like, I also find it wildly unbelievable that she got away with that, but where she's like, no, we're not doing what you say. I don't care that you're in charge here. Where he's just gonna like torture somebody to get information, and he's like, well, I'm in charge and I don't know what else to do, and I'm just like, you're like Joffrey. You're like,
he tells her to F off, and I'm like, whoa, bro. And I'm like, so you're nice until she rejects you or rejects something you're saying, and then you're gonna unleash with this language? Like, all right, incel, go ahead, buddy. Go back to r/red pill or wherever you find your info. Like,
I thought that would be her wake up call.
But the thing is, I liked him, like, because he's terrible. Like, I like Claudius, get off of that, please.
I mean, I would like it if I felt like I was intended to read him as terrible.
Yeah, I get that.
And the fact that like when before we even find out that he lied about his relationship with Rain to everybody, when, like you say, like when Rain's like, hey, that girl does not like you, and he, like you say, tells her to F off, and he's like really hostile and like, clearly delusional and kind of frighteningly so. I thought that would be Rain's moment. We haven't even learned that he was lying about her. I thought that would be her moment to be like, okay, you know what? I thought there might be something redeeming under all that like, okay, you're kind of shy. Okay, you're kind of bookish, but you know what? No, this is no. But no, she's like still fine with him. And then she finds out what he lied about her, and she's still kind of okay with him. And I'm just like, I know Rain's the worst, but you know who's actually the worst?
I mean, yeah, Ovidus is bad. I mean, I liked, so there's plenty. I mean, there's just more to talk about. There's more to expound upon when we're talking about things we don't like. But I mean, I liked the mystery at the end. Like, I would have watched Rain solve mysteries, solve crimes by talking to dead people. I would have thought it was interesting. Like, it's like Jennifer Love Hewitt in, was it Ghost Whisperer? Is that what she's in?
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I liked that scene with the dead people, and then she like fires the arrow. And then,
no, you know what it's like? It's like pushing daisies.
Sure. I didn't watch Pushing Daisies.
He wakes up the dead to ask them who killed them, and then unalives them.
Yeah. And so I liked that. I liked when they found out that, the reason that Sanvon has to be like an ice queen to her the whole time is because otherwise we have no red herring on who the villain is. It's got to be Sanwan.
But like what we didn't need was that entire middle section where that is the red herring and where nothing is happening, and like the only drama you invented to supposedly carry us through this like long swath of nothing is that, and I'm just like, that was not enough because I did not care about that.
Yeah, because I mean, there's too many things going on, and none of them do anything. Like again, you have the people who somehow know that she can see the dead because of the feather lady who isn't a ghost, like the Queen of Feathers who isn't a ghost.
She really reminded me. When I read that, I was like, so she's one of the nameless.
Yeah, like, did we figure out who she was? Like, she's not a ghost, but she goes around and tells other people.
Some kind of.
What I don't understand is once they realized that that Rain wasn't going to play ball, why they didn't literally out her as someone who has the gravesite. Like, why would you, like, she's not going to play ball with you. Why would you not just go ahead and tell someone like, hey, that girl got her dead?
Because then we couldn't have a cool showdown.
I mean, but the showdown was really freaking cool.
Because the plot needed to happen is the answer to that question.
Money. Yeah. So what else was I going to say? The end happened too fast for me. This is one thing that I did write down. I did not enjoy. Like the end, like everything's wrapped up, like we figure it out. But then we go to the trial. Some dude just comes out and says, "This happened and you did it." And everyone's like, or the like, you know, the freaking Dumbledore, or I guess McGonagall lady, is just like, "Okay, you're free." And like the one guy's even like, "Wait, what? Like you're just gonna take?" She's like, "Yes, I'm gonna take their word." And
it feels like this is gonna be really complicated and hard. Actually, it'll be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Barely an inconvenience. Yeah, it that happened. The trial happened really fast. Like all of that resolution happened like that. And I was like, wait, what? Like,
except the thing is, like, I would want the trial to be longer if I had a guarantee. No, I had a guarantee that it'd be interesting. But if the trial was just dragged out for length's sake and it was just like more nothingness because there isn't actually more tension or more information, it's just longer, I'd be like, well, I'm glad you cut it.
I would have liked it. And I forget what happened. What is the one guy? Cleathon.
Oh, the one. I didn't like it, but the euphemism for like the one that twists his sheets the other way.
Oh, yeah, that guy. I'm talking about that guy. Yeah,
the one that Ovidus tried to torture. That guy.
Yes, him.
Yeah,
I liked him.
Ovidus, what a guy.
Who is he? What is his name? Begins with a C. I like that guy, but what was the purpose of him? Did he do anything at the end?
To be another red herring for Ovidus to torture.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but he made fun of Ovidus, which I liked. Well, Leanna, gosh, what's your problem?
There's two comparisons, neither of which is flattering. One is for a scene and one is for the whole thing. So the scene where they like invite her to like sneak off and go drinking, and then they go look at the kelpies. I was like,
unicorn.
I think it's
the kelpies, yeah, in the river.
That whole scene was like something out of a CW show. Where they're like, we're gonna go out drinking and we're like kind of like girls' night, and then they're like, oh, don't do that, and it's like a dare to like get the kelpie, and I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now?
It's from a Buffy episode.
And then the whole book, the way we keep saying that there's like so much happening, but also it felt like boring that nothing was happening. But there's just like all these little things that keep popping up, and you're like, but that didn't go anywhere. What was the point of that? Yeah. And we learned that it was much longer, and it was cut down. It reminds me of The Rise of Skywalker, where like it was like planned for like hours and hours of footage that they chopped down into like a 2-hour movie. And it's just like, there's no time for anything to be explained or to breathe or to make any kind of sense. So they just go from thing to 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 thing. And you're just like, I'm exhausted and bored at the same time.
Yeah, I was less bored, but like, I was like, I don't really know where we're going with this, but no, I get it. Wow. At least it's not Norwegian wood, though.
Yeah, it could always be worse.
How about that Norwegian wood? I don't even know what your problem is with that book.
Have you read it?
I thought everybody loved that guy, though.
I don't know why.
Well, didn't he write? What else did he write? What else
He
do I?
wrote 1Q84.
There.
He
That
wrote
one. Oh
Wind Up,
no! I know everyone I know hates that.
Wind Up Bird Chronicle,
I don't know what that is. Everyone hates the 1Q84.
Kafka on the Shore.
Oh, I haven't read that. Yeah. Well, you didn't like the Kelpie scene? I didn't either. I didn't care. Like,
Didn't
any-
it feel stupid?
anytime
Like, that's why I read like YA.
yeah, teenagers gonna teenage. Anytime teenagers are teenaging, it's not really something I enjoy reading.
But
Now,
teenagers teenaging happens in adult fantasy, and it doesn't read like a CW show.
I mean, I don't care. I don't like it. I don't like it ever. Like, I don't like teenagers teenaging for any reason. I don't know, Vermillionaire. You have a Ben liked the scene with the Kelpie. Do you know why?
Do I know why what?
Look at the comment I just put.
You just put the moon horse scene was touching.
No, this.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can't read because you're a
I
woman.
mean,
I can teach you, Rain. Only if you come to my boudoir.
I think he was advised to, and I think he was saying how like originally when he shopped it around, he probably didn't get anywhere with it because it was too long. And having read it now, I'm like, that's not why. But yeah, I think it was that he thought it was too long, then he was told it was too long, and was like, we can cut some of this. Yeah, 1Q84 is like 10 billion times longer than Norwegian Wood too.
Why do you hate Norwegian Wood so much? The short version.
Oh, the short version is because it's awful.
No, I mean obviously.
Because like, well, kind of similar to what we're talking about. Like the main character is horrible, but the whole narrative rewards him all of the time, and he doesn't have a personality. He doesn't have a thought in his head. But every single woman he meets thinks he's amazing and wants to sleep with him, and he does then sleep with all of them. And like just a small sampling. It's like just a casual conversation he's having, I think, with his roommate or with some. I don't remember when it comes up because it's not a significant moment. When he's talking about being out on the town and some girls that they were with, and how this one that he was specifically with, that she put up a terrific fight at first, but eventually like she slept with him. And I'm like, you're describing SA.
Yuck.
And you're just like, that happened the other day. Blah, 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 blah. Moving on. Blah, 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 blah. I'm the greatest.
I have also never heard anybody say anything about 1Q84. Anyway, Redwinter. So I like the magic system. I thought the gates were cool. I think it's like very obvious when they're like, this one is forbidden. I'm like, okay, well, someone's gonna be doing the sixth gate. Like that's thank you. I mean, that's obvious when there's like, this one is forbidden. It's like, well, someone will definitely be using that one at some point. You know what I mean? It's like
like when Dumbledore says that this
I'm
door
doing
is off
Dumbledore.
limits.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Interrupted my impression.
I'm so sorry. Ovidus, go ahead.
You will learn your place, woman. You will not precede me and cut off my impressions.
Ovidus. Anyway, Colton. It's because I am bad at time management and I never make food. Like I don't like making dinner, but like when a live show is looming, I have to.
You made that chicken?
Yeah, like I have to, or I'll be eating really late, so I have to.
I just assumed it was takeout.
No, I made it in my air fryer, which is the best invention of all.
I know, I love my air fryer.
Yes, but air fryer.
Never a chicken has entered it.
I know it fries freaking vegetables and crap. Oh, though I have corn that I also air fried. So, but I'm definitely not gonna eat that on camera. Like
I was gonna say, you picked some terrible foods to like eat on camera. Like you could have picked some more like finger food type of thing.
Well, theoretically, I was supposed to get this done before the live stream, and then I didn't because I was trying to work. Anyway, do you have any fun? Look, I don't think this book is bad. Like, especially if you read fast, like I don't think you're gonna be disappointed, especially if you're not like a freaking snob like Liana. Like if you're okay with, books that are fine. I think this book does have some things to offer. And if you read quickly, that middle part will go very fast and you'll be fine.
I feel like I read decently quickly, and it was.
Yeah, but you're also,
like you read faster when you enjoy. When you don't enjoy, you read slower.
Well, but that's the thing. It didn't take me long to read this book. It took you longer because you didn't like it. Regardless, you should support Ed McDonald You should go buy it anyway.
By buying the Ravensmark trilogy.
Yes, but also this, if you have disposable income. Like if you have a lot of money, just buy this book to support him.
You can buy one of my copies.
Yeah, so he'll keep writing it. What's up, Theo? So yeah, I will read the sequel because I am eager to see where it goes. The horror elements are my favorite part. Like he just does it so well, like so
well, because this
without being super gross.
This did feel like a setup book, so like I have some small amount of hope that like if this is the one he shopped around for the most part, and that it's new material in the second one, and that all of this was kind of setting up for what is the plot, then the second one could be good.
Well, I will be interested to see us returning for this after the second book comes out and see if there's like we have different opinions. And if you were like, and I'm like, I hated this one. This one's the worst. And you're like, oh my God.
You know what will shock me?
What?
Is if you finish the Ravensmark and you finish Crowfall, which has a lot of action set pieces and wild magic. If you finish that, and you're like, oh, I liked Daughter of Redwinter better. And then we won't be friends anymore.
Well, I mean, it just depends on if Crowfall sucks. So we'll see.
Crowfall does not suck.
I mean, I have a word for it, and you have bad opinions sometimes. Anyway,
and I told you that you would like it better than I would, and then I did.
Probably. So we're right at an hour. Nice. We managed to. We found an hour's worth of stuff to talk about. So guys, thank you so much for joining. Those of you who joined. Again, you shouldn't just listen to Liene griping and then not buy it, because otherwise, the only thing you'd ever purchase was freaking First Law books. So
or Ravensmark.
Or Raven. Yeah, she never talks about Ravensmark on her stuff. This is
untrue.
It's a paltry like toss, paltry like here's morsels.
I've mentioned it in like at least 5 videos.
No one's listening.
Well, that's not my fault.
It's drowned out by the. I'm reading First Law for the 8th time.
I mean, everything is drowned out by that.
Why do you read First Law so much? Like, surely you can't have forgotten the whole series in a year that you've read that many times.
Well, this year we're doing a read along for it on the podcast.
Hold on. Okay, I'm done. I had to roll my eyes at you. What's gonna be excuse next year?
I'll find one.
Are you excited for?
I'm excited to buddy read it with you for the first time.
No, are you excited for news of Red Rising 6?
Yes.
When do we get that?
I thought you were going to ask me though about Abercrombie's new book, because I am also excited about it.
He has a new book coming out.
It's not First Law.
Oh, I wonder if everyone's going to hate it. That'd be funny.
He hates it, so there's that.
He does, really? He doesn't like it?
I guess he was struggling with writing it. He said like on Twitter there was one of those like prompts or whatever that's like name like the book that you wish you could read and like what author you would want to have written it or something like that. And he was like mine, because that would mean it was finished.
I put it on my list. I haven't watched it yet. I too much to watch, but I did put it on my watch list. Red Rising is a book that I really like when I'm reading it, and then I don't think very much about Red Rising when I'm not reading it.
I think more about the new books like Iron Gold and Dark Age.
Oh, I'm not even sure one time, except today I was talking to Zara about, she just finished the trilogy, and I'm like, I'm eager to see what you think about Iron Gold. That was the first time I thought about Iron Gold and Dark Age since I read Iron Gold and Dark Age, really. Like I don't really think about them that often. I think about Golden Sun a lot, and then I think about Pierce Brown not understanding what it's like to write in first person in Morningstar. I think about that frequently. It's like, Pierce Brown, you literally can't do what you just did.
Except he did.
I mean, he did, and he's forgiven.
He was like, watch me.
I know. He's forgiven because it's like, all right, well. But yeah, I'm excited too. I wonder how long it's going to be.
That one, I mean, after the length of the, like, Iron Gold is like this long, Dark Age is like this long. Book 6 is going to be like...
Aren't you, that is an unpopular opinion. Aren't you excited about its name? What's its name? Lightbringer?
That better not actually be the name.
I hope so. I hope it's the name.
I hope not.
I hope it's called Lightbringer.
It better not be. I mean, it would fit. It would be, you know, how like George Lucas was like, it's like poetry, they rhyme. Because he called Morningstar, the third book in the first trilogy, to call the third book in the second trilogy Lightbringer. It would rhyme like poetry.
Yeah. We'll see. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This is, if you do not already follow Leanna's library, you should, because
Only if you hear about First Law, because that's literally all I talk about.
I mean,
of what I
basically,
know.
if you like First Law and you're not following Leanna, I don't know why that is. You definitely should.
But more importantly, if you don't like First Law and you're following me, I would like to know why.
I can't wait till I read First Law and don't like it, and I'm just like, why do y'all like this book so much?
Oh, I can't wait for it to be your favorite.
We'll see. We'll see. One day I'll get to Abercrombie if I can finish up some of the stuff that I'm reading. Anyway, Leanna, thank you for joining me.
Alan,
And sorry you didn't like the book. That's unfortunate. We thought we were going to like it more. Dang it. All right. Anyway,
I clearly thought that I would like it.
Did you really buy 4 in anticipation?
Yes, they're all pre-orders, and they all started coming in because I only finally read it like the week of, and I was like, "Oh God, here they all come."
That's a rip. That's hilarious. Anyway, bye guys.